All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it. It's quite an honor to speak in front of you today and show just this is just a sliver of some of the things that we do at Michigan Tech. What I'm about to present to you, gotta admit, it's not a lot of original thoughts. I stole all of this. Okay? It's just kind of how I've put it all together to kind of develop my own philosophy. Okay? So the methods I'm going to show you, okay, I'm going to show you how we use them, but I really feel that they can be put into any exercise, put into any schedule, any philosophy you want. You don't necessarily have to do it the way that we do it at Tech. Okay? So just a little bit of a background. I've spent all of those 12 years, all but about 6 months, working in either the collegiate or the high school setting. Okay, so that kind of skews my view towards more, multiple teams, multiple athletes. I don't get to do a lot of one-on-one training. Okay? My situation at Tech is also a little bit unique. Got a nice picture there for you. One of the most beautiful places in the country for 3.5 months of the year. The other months of the year can get a little dicey. Okay? But we have, I'm in charge of 8 sports at Michigan Tech. We have between 250 and 300 athletes. Okay? They have a difficult academic load. They have a difficult academic schedule. Okay? So the biggest thing is we need programs that are safe, easy to implement, and are going to work for a wide variety of athletes. Okay? On the flip side, the positive of that is I have these athletes for 4, 5, sometimes even 6 years. Okay, so I have a lot of time to develop these athletes. I'm not in a hurry to get things done this second, whereas maybe in the personal training world they need results right now. I can take my time. I can make sure that things are done correctly. Okay. One of the biggest things about us at Michigan Tech is we're a movement-based strength and conditioning program. Okay, and what I mean by that is technique, form, doing things right is at the foundation of everything we do. Okay, I really believe that we can't get stronger, we can't get faster if we don't know how to move correctly. Okay, so a big thing that I like to say is if it looks like crap, it's crap. Okay, it could be 500 pounds on your back, but if it looks disgusting and it turns into a good morning as opposed to a squat, okay, that's not what we're looking for. We want form, we want technique, we want good movement. Okay? So one of the things that really backs our philosophy at Michigan Tech is something called functional movement systems, put together by Gray Cook and Lee Burton. We use the functional movement screen. We screen every athlete at Tech twice a year. Okay? And this is their performance pyramid. So at the bottom, okay, we've got functional movement. So just like myself, they feel that movement is at the base of everything we do. Okay? From there, we can make that movement stronger, faster, be able to repeat it more and more. Okay? And then on top of that is their functional skill. Okay? So I really feel as strength coaches, this is our area of expertise. Okay? We're here to improve their movement. We're here to improve their performance. Sports coaches, that's the skill that come in. Okay? The problem with this, a little bit, is, especially in the collegiate setting, our athletes are recruited in pretty much the reverse order of this. Okay? As they should be. Okay? They're recruited for their skill first and foremost. If they happen to be strong and fast, all the better. I don't think our sport coaches necessarily care if they can move correctly. Okay? So a big problem at Tech, and I would think at most collegiate settings, is we have incoming freshmen with a very wide range of experience in the weight room. Okay? Honestly, I say this and it makes people laugh, but it's true. I've had athletes who don't know the difference between a dumbbell and a barbell. Okay? Anywhere from they've been national team development program hockey kids, they have 4 years of training under their belt. Toughest thing I do is turn on the lights and open the door. Okay? So pretty wide range of experience in the weight room. and quite often they're going to have some movement dysfunction. So that functional movement isn't going to be as good as we're looking to have. Okay? So I need to design programs for these incoming freshmen without ever seeing them. The only thing I know is their name on the front of that training manual. Okay? So how am I going to get them to hopefully, and my goal is that they show up on campus with good movement, okay, and as few movement dysfunctions as possible, so that then I can start building their performance. Okay? So some things that I've done to try to fix this problem, okay? So we've done a lot of body weight training in our incoming freshman programs, okay? It's amazing how much better form looks when we take a little bit of weight off the bar, okay? So body weight and, lesser weight training programs, okay? This is another big reason why I assign weights once they get on campus, once I know, their estimated maxes and things like that. I'll assign them weights because guys tend to put too much weight on the bar. Girls tend to not put enough weight on the bar. Stereotypically, of course. Not all everybody. Okay? I've tried regression training. So we're trying to decrease the complexity of the movements that I'm asking them to do. I've tried decreasing the range of motion of the movements that we've asked them to do. Okay? And we've tried slowing those movements down as well. Okay? And this really just fixed the symptoms of that movement, of those problems. Okay? We didn't really change the underlying issues that they have. Okay? We just made it look a little bit better, but then when we came, to try other movements and make it more complex and make it faster, those same issues were still there. Okay? So I needed to figure out what the real questions were. Okay? First of all, what is functional movement? Okay, I keep saying that word. What are we actually talking about? Okay? And the second question is, what are some of those characteristics of those untrained athletes? What kind of separates them from my juniors, seniors, kids who have been with me for 3, 4, 5 years? Okay? So the first question, what is functional movement? Okay? Well, it's not this. Okay? It's not this. It's not using unstable surfaces. It's not doing crazy circus tricks. Okay? So if we think this is functional, well, when are our ankles ever turned out? When are our knees ever turned in? Okay? When are we ever trying to hurt ourselves? Okay? I really, really believe that's not functional movement. Okay? It's been a bastardized term for the last few years, and hopefully we can put it out there what it is. Okay? So, definition from the internet, okay? So functional movement based on real world biomechanics. It's multiplanar, it's multi-joint, place demands on the core musculature. Okay? That's a pretty good definition. Okay? I wouldn't call it great. It's a little complicated. There's a lot of buzzwords. Okay? If we saw the neck and trap training, I'd call that functional training. That's a lot of single joint movement. That's a lot of single muscle movement. Okay? So that kind of throws that out a little bit. Okay? Gray Cook, again, developer of those functional movement systems, pretty smart guy. Of course, came to the rescue. Okay? Extremely simple definition. Functional movement is movement in the absence of dysfunction. Okay? This goes back to that saying that I love to say. If it looks like crap, it's crap. So functional movement is crap-free movement. Right? Okay. Getting a little further into the definition, okay? Dr. Mark Chang works with Gray Cook, has a great, 2-minute YouTube video on mobility and stability. Okay? Movement, especially good movement, involves good mobility and good stability. Okay? Well, then obviously we need to define those two things as well. Okay? Mobility, the ability of a joint system to move through a definable range. Okay? So obviously functional mobility is mobility without any dysfunction. Okay? So not crap mobility. Okay? So it's not flexibility. When we're talking about flexibility, we're talking about soft tissue. Okay? We're talking about not talking about the nervous system, not talking about the fascial system, not talking about the whole joints. Okay? So we're talking about mobility, a little more of a holistic approach. Okay? So another term for mobility is our ability to reach different positions, our ability to reach different postures. Okay? On the flip side, stability, okay, is our ability to control those postures, control those movements. Okay? So in 3 easy words, it's dynamic motor control. So it's not necessarily stiffness, it's not necessarily strength. Okay? It's our ability to control the body through that mobility. Okay? So if we have great mobility, we can move through a great range of motion, and we can control that great range of motion, we're going to have good movement. Okay? How does this relate to the body? Okay? Gray Cook, Mike Boyle came up with the joint by joint theory. Okay? Another big stone in our philosophy of how we train at Michigan Tech. Okay? Every joint needs mobility, every joint needs stability, okay? But their primary need differs. And if you'll notice, okay, they alternate as we go up the body. So the foot needs to be stable, okay? Our ankle needs to be mobile, knee stable, hip mobile, lumbar spine stable, thoracic spine mobile, scapula stable, glenohumeral, aka shoulder, mobile. Okay? If we have dysfunction, okay, if we have a lack of ankle mobility, okay, quite often that knee is going to make up for it. That's where we get a lot of knee pain. Okay? So these dysfunctions, whether it be stability or mobility, okay, can affect either the joint above it or below it, or even joints further away. Okay? So an alternating series of stable segments that move on mobile joints. Okay. So, if we have functional mobility and we can get our athletes to have functional stability, okay, we're going to have some functional movement. Okay? Lack of dysfunction equals function.